Hey guys, Sean Murphy here. Thank you so much for the request. And let me tell you this, from one podcast to another, you can use this for your intro if you want. So if you're ready, here we go. Snooker Loopy, nuts are we, me and him and them and me. And we'll show you what we can do with a load of balls and a snooker cue. Pop the reds and screw back for the yellow, green, brown, blue, pink and black. Snooker Loopy, nuts are we, we're all Snooker Loopy.
Good evening, Hazel. Good evening, everybody at home. My name is Tom Mayhew, and I'm joined by my very, very good friend. It's the Prince of Persia. It's Joe Hannard.
Good evening, Hazel. Good evening, everybody at home. I felt targeted there, Tom. Felt targeted. Yes. Good evening. Obviously, it has been a manic Monday at the Crucible, as predicted. Yesterday we had two deciders. We had one go to 13-11 and one that was 13-7, so a bit more comfortable. But yeah, I mean, what a day at the Crucible. There's been highs, there's been lows. It's been quite an emotional ride, I think, today. I didn't catch much of the afternoon session until the very end, obviously being at work and stuff, but yeah, I mean, how was that for your nerves, Tom?
Awful. I felt absolutely sick, Joe. As we're both, big Ronnie fans, and we both like a bit of Big Hig as well. Don't get me wrong, but I think as Ronnie fans, it feels like the job won't be done until he gets number 8. And after that, we'll all just be chill. Everything else will be a bonus. But until then, it really felt like this could have been gearing up to be that one, and it's a strange thing to say, but it felt like he didn't lose it in the final session. I really do feel like he lost it in the second session, and then that just carried over into his mentality, because he was cross-armed. He didn't seem to be as up for it as he was in the first session.
Yeah, I think, I called it right at the time. It was frame 14 when he was 9-3, 9-4 in front. He'd got the snooker he needed against John, and he was clearing up to go 10-4. He missed the green by an absolute whisker. If that green goes in, he wins the frame. It's 10-4, and more than likely probably wins the last two frames of the session. I said it yesterday. I called it at the time as well. Even in the very next frame, I think he was on a break of 55. And, I think I was saying, it's nice how the frames have alternated tonight. And then Ronnie missed a couple of shots later. I said, well, there we go then. John Higgins pretty much cleared the table after that, made it 9-6. And then, very quickly it became 9-7, 9-8, 9-9. And then 10-9, John Higgins. And, he won 6 frames in a row in the end. I think Ronnie did very well to probably eke out, once again, that 11-10 lead. But it just sort of matches a little trend. And I was going to say this to you, Tom, off air. I don't know if you remember 2023 when he was playing Luca Brissell, and he was 10-6 up in the quarterfinal against Luca. And lost the last 7 frames of that match. He was 4-all with Zhao Xintong last year in the semi-final. And Zhao Xintong beat him in the next session 8-0 to go 12-4. And against Stuart Bingham in 2024, I believe, in the quarterfinal. He was a little bit ahead, and Stu Bingham won quite a few frames in a row. I think that did go into a decider, that one, or at least 12-11 or something like that. But there's just this trend recently in the World Championship with Ronnie that he's sort of playing really well-ish. Last year, maybe a bit of an anomaly. Playing really well, quite far ahead in matches, and then takes his foot off the gas and loses a couple of close frames, and all of a sudden he can't get over the line.
I wonder whether it is And it's almost a strange thing to say, considering how much we know about Ronnie's fitness, of all his running and his eating and stuff. But I wonder if it is like a stamina kind of thing. Like he uses all of his focus and energy in the first session, and then it just dropped off. It completely dropped off, and he was like a completely different player. His mindset, his mentality was gone. He was whacking the table, and
I mean, it's funny because, like, I called it at the time when he got that snooker, and he potted quite a tricky red. And I'd said Ronnie was being really ruthless, and I do think it came down to a couple of shots here and there, and ultimately, like, he was one frame away from winning, and he had multiple opportunities to win that frame throughout the match. And, John Higgins played a lot better today. I think that also was a big one. Obviously, Ronnie doesn't have a great record against John Higgins at the Crucible. I know it's 3-3, but until he beat him in 22, it had been a while since Ronnie had beaten John Higgins over a sort of long distance match. So, I'm not that surprised. I think I'd have been less numb about it had Ronnie not lost them. I don't think John Higgins won the match. I think Ronnie lost it, and I think that's the overriding feeling I get. And I really do worry for John Higgins in the next round. He did look quite drained after it. I think Ronnie would have just sort of brushed it off and been fine again tomorrow. But John to have to come out again tomorrow. I don't know if he's on 2 sessions tomorrow or just the one, but I worry for John.
Well, John's taken on too much. He's playing deciders in the World Championship. He's going to his spinning class. He's playing Jay Ander in a movie. He's just trying to do too much at once.
Yeah, absolutely. Luckily for John Higgins, he is just in on the afternoon session tomorrow, so that gives him a little bit of respite, I suppose. If he can get out of that, 4-all, 5-3 behind against Robertson, I think he'd take that. And hey, he's come back from 6-2 and 8-3 down against Ronnie O'Sullivan, so he can do anything now.
And it's that thing where, as Ronnie fans were gutted, but we do have to say Higgins was very good in that final session. I thought he found something he wasn't showing before then, and he did play like he played like a player who's back in the top 8. He played very, very well. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And hey, if Ronnie's going to lose to anybody, another one of the class of 92 is a pretty fair player to lose it against. 2 deciders in a row at the World Championship for John Higgins against class of 92 members. So yeah, fair play to John, and he's had the best season by far out of the class of 92, so I think it's fitting that he gets himself into the quarterfinal, and hey, every chance of getting to the one table set up again, which would be really amazing for him. But of course, it wasn't the only match that was going on this afternoon. There was an incredible match between Mark Selby and Wu Yiza, which I had the pleasure of watching the first session of that match, and Wu looked brilliant. Naturally, he could have won the last frame of that session to lead 5-3. It ended up 4 each, I think, after the first session. Wu Yiza managed to get to 9-7 overnight, which was really key, I think. And then he just seemed to have that real attitude of sharing the frames today, and I know you sent me a couple of messages of Wu bottling it towards the end, but he had a really great break in the last frame. I think it was 53 or something, which really got him just so close to the winning line, and Mark for once didn't have nerves of steel.
Well, yeah, for a second I did think Wu was bottling it, because I think he threw away maybe 2 frames where he could have had the match won, and then he missed pots he would have got earlier in the match. So I did think, oh no, the Crucible nerves have got him, and he's panicking and he's going to throw it away. But it was nice to see him get it over the line. It's always nice to see some new names in the sort of quarterfinal section of the draw. So I was really glad to see him get through, especially as someone who's had a very decent season. And he's very highly rated by many players. And I mean, who's not to say he couldn't get to the final like Joe predicted?
Well, I mean, he's got every chance. In fact, in the bottom half of the draw, I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute, but there's no winners in the bottom half of the draw anymore. So we are going to have, highly likely a new finalist, unless Barry Hawkins can make it there. But even so, he hasn't been into the final since 2013, so it'll feel like we've got a new finalist this year, which is brilliant, for the sport after Zhao Xintong's sort of trailblazing run last year. And we could have, for the fourth consecutive year, a new winner on the trophy, which, is pretty amazing, all things considered.
It must be odds on, right? Because don't we have 3 previous winners and 5 non-winners in the quarterfinals, I believe? So it's more likely that we would have a new winner.
Well, no, the top half are all winners.
Sorry.
And then the bottom half are all non-winners. So
is there 4 winners in it then, and 4 non-winners?
4 winners, 4 non-winners. Yeah,
that's 50-50.
50-50. But you would have to say those at the top half of the draw are probably much more likely to win. If you look at the 4 names that are up there, any 4 of them, I think, would be favourite against the bottom 4 in a final. So, really looking forward to seeing how it all unfolds now. I think obviously there's always a bit of a dip when Ronnie goes out of a tournament, but I am in a position now where I'm actually not that bothered, who wins, and actually in terms of there's nobody in there that I would be like, I don't want them to win.
Well, that's partly because of the results of the rest of the last 16 matches, which we should just sort of go over them. So, yeah, of course, we had Big Hig getting through, we had Will Yeza getting through, and then Neil Robertson was basically, I mean, Chris Wakeland, I don't think he was in the game after that foul, as you said yesterday. He didn't get back in the game, and
no,
it kind of went the way that the form book would tell you, because Robertson, he's had a very good season.
Well, he's number 1 on the 1-year list. I think most tournaments he's been in, he's been the quarterfinal onwards, which is really consistent. I don't think he's actually back to his ultimate best either, which is testament to how well he's been scoring this season, I guess, to win frames in one visit. He's not at his devastating best where he potting them off the lampshades and getting pretty much a ton of tons. That was his thing, that he was getting near 100 tons every year. I don't think he's anywhere near that this year, but still a really, really top quality player. It's good to see him back in the quarterfinal. I'd love to see him in the one table setup again, because he's the sort of player that you look at his list of achievements and the glaring miss there really is that he's not been to more Crucible finals, but more importantly, he's not won more Crucible crowns, because he is that good. But we'll see how he gets on in the quarters against John. As I say, I worry for John a little bit. I think the start of that match is crucial. John's got to hang on, because the class of 92 of recent years, when they've had a big victory, tend to have a bit of a dip in the next session. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. But the last match of the evening, Tom, Judd Trump, Hossein Vafaei. Obviously, Trump was 9-7 up. It looked like he'd sort of broken the back of the match last night when he went from 6-7 down to 9-7. He played 3 great frames at the end of yesterday. He then came into this evening session and won the first frame quite comfortably. He was leading 10-7. But from that moment on, Hossein Vafaei, I mean, it's one of the best session performances from anybody ever, I think. It was very reminiscent, I think, of when Brissell played Ronnie.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. It reminded me a lot of Brissell in that just it was instinctive. It was just playing with no fear. It was just taking the shot as soon as you see it, not overthinking it, and getting it, and kind of almost his back's to the wall. Okay, I need to attack, so I'm going to attack, and pulling it off. It was fantastic snooker by Hossein. I was happy to see him get the win. It's good to still have a qualifier in the last 8, and I don't really want Judd to win, so I was pretty chuffed about that, really.
Both of your finalists were out in the same round, Tom.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't really matter. What matters is that players I don't like are not going to win the World Championship. But what I will say, to Judd's credit, is that after the match, he did sort of speak to Hossein for maybe a good 30 seconds. He clearly was saying to him, well done, good luck. And I don't think I've ever seen Judd do that before, which is part of the reason I don't warm to him, because he's very much a shake hands, walk off, which a lot of players do. Ronnie does it. A lot of players do it a lot of the time. But I've never sort of seen Judd actually take the time to speak to someone. So I did go, oh, no, good on you, mate. You've actually shown a bit of humility, and you're saying good luck to your opponent, which I think it was nice to see.
Yeah, and actually, for once, his post-match interview was reasonably gracious. It took him, I think, 2 or 3 minutes to mention Hossein, but once he did, he spoke about him in glowing terms. Seema dropped a clanger, though, when she was saying Judd's always gracious in defeat, so let's cross over to him now. Not sure Seema's been watching snooker for that long on that evidence. However, it was one of the better losing speeches I've seen from Judd, and yeah, who knows? Will he ever win another World Championship? I mean, he is only 36. We've got to remember the class of 92, 15 years older than him. So, he is probably going to break all sorts of records in terms of ranking titles, centuries. But unless he starts winning more World Championships, and he probably needs to win at least 5, I would suggest, to even be considered within top 5 of all time, in my opinion.
Well, I guess at the moment people would just say, orders vary, but it would probably be at the moment Ronnie, Hendry, Higgins, Williams, Selby, Davis.
Steve Davis, yeah. I think Davis is above Mark Williams, I think, for me.
Really? I think Williams' longevity edges it.
But then,
and the fact Williams won things in such a competitive era, it's very different to a Davis who was just above everyone else. Do you know what I mean? I think to win something in the era of the class of 92, I think puts Williams above Davis for me.
It's interesting for me because I think the only reason Williams is sort of talked in the same breath as Ronnie and John is, one, the year he turned professional. I think if he turned professional in 91 or 93, I don't think he'd be in that exactly the same conversation.
What is this nonsense, Joe? What are you talking about?
And also, had he not won the world title in 2018, he wouldn't have won one for 23 years at this point. So I think, as much as Williams is absolutely, incredible, I don't have any more superlatives for him than have been said.
Handsome.
But yeah, I think he's comfortably third best of the class of 92 by some distance, I would say. And then I'd probably say Selby and Davis do rank higher on the all-time list for me.
Oh, I don't think I agree. I really, because I just think Williams winning in that era just puts him above for me, because the fact that he won. I mean, he won a world championship before Ronnie, of course, and the fact that I always think if those two weren't there, then Williams would be talking about. I always think with
Equally,
Higgins,
though, Williams has
Williams
dropped out of the top 32. He's been as low as ranked in the 40s.
Yes, it's because he was too busy eating kebabs and taking his clothes off. He got distracted,
Yeah.
And I think with Williams, I guess, I just think the three of them, they have such longevity. Like, if you look at the players who've played at the Crucible the most times, I think it does go like Ronnie, Higgins, Davis, Williams, and then Hendry. And so for three of those players to all be in the top five, you do go, well, I mean, come on, like, that shows that I think the three of them. And there's also the argument that did the three of them sort of psychologically spur each other on? Like, would Ronnie be as good without Mark Williams? Or would Higgins be as good without Ronnie? Like, there's always that argument that if they were just the best in their game, maybe they would have burnt out like Hendry and just got bored of winning and just given up.
Yeah, I do find it interesting, because I think if you had this conversation in 2011, after John Higgins had won his fourth world title, I would suggest most people would have Higgins on par, if not slightly above Ronnie, who at the time was a three-time world champion, and nowhere near Hendry, obviously. And I don't think Williams would have been in the conversation back then. I genuinely don't. I think it is more of a recency bias with Williams. Yeah, he's amazing now, but there was a period of time where Williams was absolutely not. And I would say between probably 2006 and 2017, Williams was not there. And that's a huge part of his career, that he wasn't at that level. And I agree, longevity wise, yes, he's 51 now and still playing, top 10 snooker. Probably says more about the other players than it does him. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I'll be interested to hear what people think at home about that, because Tom disagrees massively. I mean, Mark Williams is absolutely one of my favourite players. He always has been, but
well, show him some respect, Joe.
Yeah, and I think he'd admitted himself, though. I really
do. No, he wouldn't. He'll be listening to this, crying into his kebab. And he's eaten so many kebabs that he actually cries chili sauce. It's horrific.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to debate what our top 10 of all time would be. But yeah, Davis above Williams for me. But anyway, looking ahead to the quarterfinals, of course, we have got Zhao Xintong against Shaun Murphy. That's going to be bright and early, 10 o'clock tomorrow, along with the Mark Allen and Barry Hawkins matches. I mean, those four matches seem to have finished ages ago compared to the other four. Zhao finished yesterday morning. Mark Allen was the day before that. Barry Hawkins was the day before that. And Shaun Murphy, I think, was 2 days before that. So it is pretty crazy that they've been waiting so long.
In my head, Murphy's going to come back. His hair will be down to his shoulders. He'll have a big beard because that's how long it's been. And he'll go, oh my God, what is this place? I don't remember it because it's been so many days since Murphy was at the Crucible. It's not been, not really. I saw him in the background earlier practicing. He never leaves. He never leaves. He lives there.
Just like Stuart Bingham, apparently. And then in the afternoon, we've got John Higgins versus Neil Robertson's first session, and Wu Yi's are starting up against Hossein Vafaei. And then back for the evening, we've got the aforementioned two matches between Xintong and Murphy, Allen and Barry Hawkins. Do you think, early call, do you think any of those matches might end tomorrow, and therefore we might have our first semi-finalist by tomorrow night?
No, I don't think so. It's very rare that would happen. Of course, we have seen it with Murphy already, but I tend to think it surely must be less likely as you go further through a championship, right? Because the standard of players surely must go up and up. So the odds on it happening with players, like a Zingtong or a Murphy or a Robertson or Higgins, it feels very, very unlikely. And even with Higgins against Ronnie, when it looked unlikely, he's good enough that he turned it around, like incredibly. Like that's going to go down in history as probably one of the all-time great Crucible comebacks.
Yeah.
Everyone thought he was out. Everyone thought Ronnie could do it in 2 sessions. So for him to get through, if he wins the championship now, that blooming heck, that'll be, incredible story.
Well, especially considering he was down to Ali Carter as well on the opening day. But that's the thing with the World Championship. You can't peak too soon. You've got to sort of pace yourself, and if you can start playing your best stuff, final session of the quarterfinal into the semis, that's where you really need to sort of hit the ground running. It'll be interesting to see who comes through from the pack, because I think it's very, very close. It's anybody's game, really. Any of the 8, you could probably make a case for winning. You'd probably say Hossein is of course the biggest outsider there, but any of them could win it. Maybe it's Mark Allen's year. Maybe it's Barry Hawkins finally. Who knows? But for me, it's probably between Shaun Murphy and Zintong. I think whoever wins that match has got a very, very good chance of winning the whole thing.
Whoa, there's a big claim there. But I think, I have no idea who's going to win. Like, literally, my mum earlier said after Ronnie went out, have you got a favourite to win now? And in my head, I went, not really. Like, I still feel like in my head, all I'm kind of thinking is, I'd rather it wasn't Zingtong because I want the curse to continue. And I'd probably rather it was a new winner. That's what I'm leaning towards. Or Murphy or Robertson, or someone getting their second title. Do you know what I mean? Like, no disrespect to Hig. Obviously, we love Big Hig, but I think it would mean more if it was Murphy second, Robertson second. It'd be long overdue for them. And
and to be fair, I don't think it quite feels right. Higgins is a 5-time world champion. There's something that we don't have 5-time world champions, do we? It's a strange one, because you wouldn't expect, if Higgins did win it, you wouldn't expect him to go and win another one. But who knows?
He managed to lose 3 in a row. Maybe he's going to win 3 in a row.
Who knows? Yeah, imagine that Higgins ends his career with 7 world titles after all this talk about Ronnie and his 8th. Yeah, wow. Anyway, one thing I did want to bring up, Tom, was yesterday I said I did buy something from the Crucible, so I thought I would share with you what it is. So, Can you remember some of the things that I've got from the Crucible over the last few years?
Stuart Bingham's balls.
Didn't buy them, though, to be fair, but yeah.
No, he just gave them to you in an alleyway.
He did.
What else have you bought? You bought didn't you get a signed cue ball by JV?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I think you've also got you didn't buy the World Snooker video game. You kept saying you attempted to buy it and you never bought it.
Yeah, and that's not there anymore.
You've missed out. You've missed that. What else have you bought? I mean, you buy programs every year. Have you ever bought a keyring or a magnet? I can't remember if you have.
No, I did buy the signed Dennis Taylor picture. With him doing his old waggle. So this year I set out on a target of buying a Dennis Taylor black ball. That was my target. And I was very disappointed by the merch in the Crucible, but luckily in the Winter Gardens there was there was a few balls about. I could get one of Zhao Gudong's balls or Jimmy White or Mark
Oh.
Allen. Or for the same price, I could get one of these, which I'll show Tom first. Can he work out who it says? And then I'm gonna show the camera.
I believe it says
Go back
Detuat
to-
Poomjang.
It does not say Detuat Poomjang. It says Steve Davis, Dennis Taylor.
They both signed it.
They've both signed it for 35 Great British pounds, which was the same price as any of the other balls except Zin Tong, which was 50.
Zing Tong, mate. Come on, have a look in the mirror.
So you could have got Steve Davis or Dennis individually. But yeah, there you go. So another one prized.
But you've still not got the black ball, just to clarify.
I haven't got the black ball, but
next time.
Because
You're going back,
when I bought this, she said, "Oh, would you like to see if we've got any other colours?" And they did have a cue ball of it, but it was a bit smudged, so I didn't go for that. But yeah, all the rest of them were red. The Steve Davis one was blue, so I might have a look to see when I go back whether in the Dennis Taylor box there's any black ones, because that would be, well, even a Steve black one would be really, really cool as well. But yeah, I can't believe I got Steve and Dennis on the same one. That's a very special bit of merch, especially after, what happened to John this year. It really sort of hit home. I was very happy to have that John Virgo cue ball.
Yeah.
That's something that's very special and will be cherished forever. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you, Tom.
That's lovely. Oh, that's a cracker, as you'd say.
A cracker, yeah. So shall we cue the music, Tom? Shall we do it?
Let's cue the music. What we've not decided. What track are we listening to?
We haven't decided. Now, shall we just go for one? Let's go for Gone But Not Forgotten by The Bro.
Oh, this sounds like it's going to be emotional, Joe, this one.
Yeah, so Gone But Not Forgotten. Now,
we did have a comment on YouTube, actually, really quickly, from someone who is one of the artists on Where's the Cue Ball Going, and a good friend of Banksy. So hello very much, Paul, who is a good friend of Banksy.
Banksy is a friend of ours.
And apparently he wants us. He points out that all the proceeds from the album go to the Jessie May Children's Hospice, which is that's brilliant. A WST sort of linked charity. And he says, secondly, to give some context, the album as a whole is a tribute to John Virgo, and all participants are fans of snooker and of JV. However, the brief was fairly loose, and you have to appreciate the record label traditionally champions diverse experimental electronic music. So it's sort of a marrying of those two concepts to different degrees, hence why some are more or less focused on John Virgo in an obvious way. Some tracks just have more of a general snooker theme, and some tracks sound barely snooker related at all. So yeah, I think he was maybe a bit perturbed by our review. I mean, to be frank, like I think our general review scores tend to be, if it's less snooker related, we will rank it lower. That's just what this podcast serves to do. It, that's not us saying this person's a poor musician or it's poor musicianship or it's a bad quality song for someone who likes that genre. It's just saying for us, we go, okay, I'm not a massive fan of electronic music, and there wasn't enough John Virgo. That's literally all my rating was.
Yeah. I mean, Cue the Music is all about our rating out of 10 of, in terms of how it makes us feel as a snooker fan. That's why Stephen Hendry singing "Let Me Entertain You" got an 8 from Tom and a 7 from me. So The Fall of Paradise by Peter Ebdon. We're not really marking it on its musicality so much, but when it comes to Joe Johnson's Everlasting Love, I mean, you're not going to beat that, are you? Let's be honest.
No one remixed that on this album. Very disappointing.
Well, that's in time for our Christmas album, isn't it, Tom? But anyway, Gone But Not Forgotten. Shall we give it a listen, Tom?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go for it.
Try and do is pop the black. What we're going to try and do is pop the black. And it should work something like this. Pop the black. And it should work something like this. Try and do is pop the black. pot the black, pot the black, pot the black. What we're going to try and do is pot the black, pot the black, pot the black, pot the black, pot the black. What we're going to try and do is pot the black.
Times when you're well and truly snooker.
Well, I tell you what, Tom, those pockets are tight. What did you think of that? Certainly, we were vibing along to the electronic side of the music a lot more. I think to this one, it sort of was a bit more soothing in the background. This one, I think.
I enjoyed it. It had a nice little bit of a bop to it. It had kind of more of a sort of a old school hip hop style sort of beat to it at parts with the drums, and it had a bit more of a little dance to it. I did enjoy that a bit more, and I liked John Virgo saying what we're going to do is pot the black.
Well, I don't think I'll ever forget that. Never mind, gone but not forgotten. I think the amount of times I've heard that, I'm not going to forget that he said that. So, yeah. I guess that would be my first markdown. Would be that unlike the which one was it? It was the it was Mr. Ben, wasn't it? Six Pockets on the Table. That really encapsulated John Virgo. I feel like that's what we haven't had since with it. But perfectly good music. Enjoyed that. I'm going to get my rating out there straight away, Tom. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It was a good beat. I think it could have had more Virgo.
It could always have more Virgo. Every song in the world could have more Virgo. Ideally, Virgo would be in every music song I've ever heard. That would improve everything. And I like the fact there were sort of sounds of the cue hitting the ball used like part of the instrumental at some point. I thought that was a nice touch.
And somebody going snooker.
Yeah, exactly. I like those little touches. I enjoyed it. I'd probably give it. Do you know what? Because it was about potting the black, I'm going to give it a 7, Joe.
Oh, well, very kind from Tom there, and that gives it an average of 6.5. So let's see where that puts it. Let's have a look. So 6.5 puts it up to number 36 in our rankings, level with My Way by Dominic Dale Winton. And Snooker Loopy by Dennis Taylor, the very original Cue the Music item. So there you go. So thank you very much to The Bro for Gone But Not Forgotten, and we will be listening to the rest of the album Where's the Cue Ball going over the coming episodes. So, one more little section to go, Tom, and we've been speaking about him a lot today with what happened in the World Championship, but it's time for Quiz Wakeland.
Quiz Wakeland! It's time for Quiz Wakeland. What's that coming over the hill? Is it Chris Wakeland? No, it's Quiz Wakeland. There we go. Hello, welcome to Quiz Wakeland, the brand new feature. My name's Chris Tarrant. I'm very happy to be here. And today our contestant, you might have heard of him before. He's anything but faithless. It's Joe Hannard.
Well, good evening, Seema, and good evening, Jason. And
Mr. Hannard, what is your chosen player? Your chosen subject?
Oh, well, apparently it's Judd Trump.
Judd Trump? Are you something of an expert on Judd Trump, or?
Well, I didn't think I was an expert on Ding John Way, but apparently I was. Hazel. So yeah, because basically, thankfully, this is the last day of the tournament we have to talk about Judd Trump. So we thought we would put me through speaking about Judd Trump. This is perhaps the most positive I'll ever feel about him. So let's give it a whirl. And yeah, as it works normally, I will compile a break. Tom will ask me a red question, then I'll pick a colour, so on, and I get 3 misses, and until I'm out, basically. So here we go. Take it away, Tom or Chris.
Thank you very much, Joe. Let's see for the £100 question whether you get this right. True or false? And you've got 4 lifelines. They are found a miss, use the spider,
Free ball.
ask Jan Verhaas, or phone Stuart Bingham.
Oh, okay.
Question 1, true or false? Judd is English.
True.
Correct. Well done. You didn't even have to phone Stuart Bingham. He was there by his phone, excited. But no, you didn't have to. That's 1. There we go.
Blue.
Blue. Okay. Out of 100, how stupid was Judd's hair back in the day?
I mean 100, but go on.
That's not the actual one. Okay,
Although he doesn't have much hair these days. Bless him.
He's had a hair transplant, I think. He must have done.
Well, it's not a very good one. I'd be getting my money back for it, I think.
Okay, Joe. You're going for a tricky blue here. And we'll see if there's any naughty snooker in this shot, Joe. Which tournament gave Judd his first title as a professional?
I assume it's the China Open, but then I'm a bit worried that he won some of the fact that you've not said ranking event, but I'm going to go China Open.
Oh, he's tried to play some naughty snooker and it's rattled, it's missed the pocket. Oh. The correct answer, and I think this is a really tricky one actually. Congrats if you got this at home. It was the 2008 Masters qualifying tournament.
I see that would have been my other guess. It's just, yeah, I didn't know whether they wanted rank an event or, yeah, never mind.
You don't have to worry about doing bad at Judd Trump. It's okay. It's all good. Okay, so back to Reds. You're so far on. I was check the scores, Joe. You're so far on 1. Okay, 2. Judd was born in 1990.
I think he's 36, so I'm going to go true.
It's false. 1989.
So he's 37 soon.
Yep.
Clearly.
Okay, so
well, if I miss it a third time, I concede the frame. So here we go.
Joe Hannard breaks down on a break of 0, and so is your third shot, Joe. I do have to warn you, if you miss this shot, you will concede the frame. Okay.
Yeah.
Judd is a left-hander.
True.
That's correct. 2.
Let's go brown.
Oh, brown. In which year did Judd turn professional?
Well, he qualified for the 2007 World Championship, so I'm going to say 2006.
Are you sure you don't want to phone Stuart Bingham?
Well, Stuart Bingham would probably tell me it was 2005, but...
Oh, Joe. You chose not to phone Stuart Bingham. And that was the wrong decision. It was 2005.
Oh, dear.
So Joe Hannard, on Judd Trump, your final score is 2.
I think I was robbed there. I'm gonna, to be honest. I think those true and false questions were not the easiest.
To be fair, Joe, 2 is 1 more than the number of world titles Judd has.
That's very true. That is very true.
Well, shall I give you... Do you want an extra go? Do you want an extra pot? Another red.
Go on then. Let's go black. Oh
No,
no,
you
stop.
get
Go,
another
go
red.
with red. Okay, I get
Okay.
another shot.
Okay.
He's going to regret this because I'm going to get 35 now.
You better not. You better not. But Judd made his Crucible debut at the age of 19.
False.
No, it's true, Joe. It's true. Literally a waste of a red that. It was true. He was 19.
It's true.
Yeah, you should have got that. They said when Stan Moody qualified, he was the first 19-year-old to qualify since Judd Trump.
Well, no,
You
they
should have
said he
got
was
that.
the first teenager, but I don't know. I thought, well, at the age of 19, if he was born in 1989, that would mean that it was 2008, wouldn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was 2007 that he qualified for. Have I been robbed here again?
What do you mean again?
Right.
I'm just going by the things in the book, Joe.
2007 World Championship snooker. Let's see.
It's because he's born later in the year. I think that's confusing you.
Right, Judd Trump definitely qualified in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, depending on when his birthday was, so he played on the 23rd of April 2007. His birthday is the 20th of August 1989. So 19 years after that is August 2008. I.e., in August 2007, he was 18. So he was 17 when he played at the Crucible. So I have been well and truly robbed there, Tom. He was 17.
I don't think we can argue with the book, Joe.
Well, it's wrong. Bloody Stephen Hendry and Mark Watson. And Dave Hendon, who wrote this book. I am furious.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on, what?
Here? I don't know what's happened here. What happened? Let's do another red. Let's do another red. I can't work out what's happened. It's 1:45, and I was chatting to Stuart Bingham. I can't work out what's happened. What was your answer? That he did make it at 9. He was 19.
No, it was false because it was 7. He was 17.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Well, you said true. And then you started going on about Stan Moody being 19.
What we've done, Joe? We've gone to VAR, Joe. We've gone to VAR here, and we've gone actually.
Right, Tom,
yes,
you don't have a career being Chris Tarrant. I'm sorry.
No, we've gone to VAR. We'll change this in the edit of the TV program. It's fine. It's fine. Correct, Joe. He was 17. Well done. First time. Oh, fantastic stuff. I think I just read the wrong number. Anyway, you've got 3. What's your colour? Come on.
Black.
After all that, you're just going to miss a black. What winning break did Judd make to capture the decider in the final of the Saudi Arabian Masters? Remember that event, the 4th major that no longer exists?
Right. I think it was 65.
72. Game over. There we go. That whole mistake didn't even matter. Joe, you finished with 3, and it was a generous 3. You are not the expert on Judd Trump.
I'm not.
How'd you feel?
I mean, but then I don't think I trust it anymore. It probably wasn't 72. It was probably...
Let me get this answer.
Don't trust Tom anymore. Right, anyway.
I'm going to get this answer. I'm going to show you. It says 72. Where is it?
It's okay, Tom. I will check myself.
Joe Swale. No, wait, that's a different question. Hong Kong Masters. Neil Robertson.
No, Tom, you're all right. You're all right. I trust you. Well, anyway, folks, let me know how you did with
72 there, and then it says Fergal O'Brien for some reason, and we'll never know what the question was. It could be, who was Judd's dream date for his prom? And the answer was Fergal O'Brien. We'll never know.
Well, there we go. But yeah, let us know what your break was down in the comments, and let me know whether Tom was in the right or the wrong with that question. Yes.
I think I read the wrong number or something.
He read the wrong number. And he calls himself a professional, this guy.
I'm very professional, Joe. I am the new Chris Tarrant, I'll have you find. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, any final words for the viewers and listeners, Tom?
This is what happens when you record a podcast every day at almost midnight. Eventually, you lose your mind a little bit and you forget what day it is. A number of these I've started by saying to Joe, is it day 6? And he's gone, no, it's day 9. And I'm just going, where have those 3 days gone? This is what happens when you record too late. You forget how to read numbers. But it doesn't matter because Joe got it wrong anyway. He only got 3 points. It's completely arbitrary. It's like, Joe going, oh, that wasn't a foul. It's like, mate, you've lost the frame anyway. The frame's over. You're not going to win the World Championship, Joe. Your knowledge of Judd Trump is subpar.
Yeah, Tom's lost it, everybody. I'm sorry. We have got an exciting announcement, though. On Friday, we are going to be doing something a little bit different, aren't we, Tom?
Yes, we're going to be recording the podcast naked.
That is not happening, Tom.
We're going to do Mark Williams tribute, sat in our towels.
What we are going to be doing is for the evening session of the semi-final, we are going to be providing alternative commentary. So we are going to be live on YouTube at 7 o'clock UK time. So come and join us over there and we will be commentating on the session. Obviously, we won't be broadcasting it, so you will have to source some way of watching it and syncing it up with our commentary. But we are going to be commentating more seriously on that than what's happened to Tom in the last 5 minutes. But yes, really looking forward to that. We will be doing the first 4 frames and then we'll see how it goes after that. Depends how many people are watching and enjoying it and how mad Tom has gone by that point. But we thought Friday, since there won't be much to round up on day 1 or sort of middle day of the semi-finals, we thought we'd do something a little bit different. So, yes, join us for that on Friday night and join us tomorrow for more Crucible drama on a titillating Tuesday.
Did you see, by the way, Rob Walker called it, what did he call it? A Magic Monday?
A Magic Monday. I prefer Manic myself, but yeah. Rob Walker stealing our lines, eh? Good night, JV.